Well, the South African Banking Risk Information Centre says it's recorded double the number of cash in transit heists between January and May this year compared to the same period last year. So could police be losing the war against these robberies? Security expert and founder of NSA Global Security Consultants, Rory Steyn, joins us now to unpack this. Rory, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. The first question we should ask you is how easy is it for these criminals to actually get a hold of these explosives, to do it so freely?
So thanks for having me on the show. Sadly, too easily. It's not a new thing that we all know that there are vast amounts of explosives being utilized on a daily basis within South Africa in our mines. There are very strict controls that should be in place. These are imposed by the Chief Inspector of Explosives and policed by the South African Police Service. But at the end of the day, like with anything else, wherever there's money to be made from criminal activity, these things are going to leak out into the hands of criminals. So it's actually pretty simple to get your hands on, not just explosives, by the way. I mean, we saw the images there of the security vans being shot up. And sadly, when they attack those vans to get at the cash, they are ruthless in first killing the security officers. And to me, that's probably the greatest tragedy.
Given that it's so easy, what aren't police doing properly?
Very simply, they are not on top of the intelligence operation that really should be in place, getting to the bottom of how easy they get their hands on information. So we all talk about cash in transit heists being perpetrated on the basis of inside information, but why are our intelligence operations from within the crime intelligence service of the SAPS, why are they not penetrating these gangs? Because the organized criminals have penetrated the security companies that that carry this money. So you have security officers trained and sworn to uphold their duty, selling out their mates by passing this information on, and then, as I say, they are brutally murdered. So it really comes down to a dearth of effective crime intelligence. And we can go right back. I mean, we all know the history of the past 9 or 10 years in our country, where the intelligence services have been fighting with one another. They've been, busy with everything other than keeping their eye on the ball. And so we've gone backwards. And
being headed up by people with questionable pasts.
Yeah.
So, of course, the police minister on Saturday said very confidently they have everything under control, and the public shouldn't be worried because several people have already been arrested in connection with the various cash in transit heists that we have seen. Is he correct?
I would love to believe him, and perhaps they have. I'm not privy to what information they have and haven't got, but I would love to believe that the police have got their ducks in a row in terms of intelligence. Look, I think that Bheki Cele, worked with him in a previous role in my life. I have a high regard for his determination to get the job done, and I'm willing to give him a chance. But I need to, like every other citizen, we need to start seeing some real results. We need to get our crime intelligence needs to get agents into the midst of these criminals and start rooting out. And we know that the cops are involved as well. And that's not new. If you go way back to 1997, which was the very first cash in transit heist in that very famous incident in Bronkhorstspruit, where they dragged the spiked chain across the road, straight out of a movie, ironically called Heist, right back to that incident in July of 1997, which was really the beginning of all this. There were 3 cops involved there. 10 were convicted, 3 of them were police officers. So this is nothing new.
Yeah, it isn't. But then the fact that we're seeing the figures of the number of cash in transit heists double compared to a previous year means that intelligence services really needs to get its act together, because it's not doing what it's supposed to when it comes to these.
100%. You cannot say that it is doing its job. If you're right, a double. I mean, I was aware of a statistic that said a 40% increase. But we are sitting in May of 2018, and we have had 140-something cash in transit heists. We're a month short of halfway through the year. That is unacceptable.
Do you think that, given what we've seen in the past couple of weeks alone, because it happens in stages. It all happens at once, which is very weird, I mean, when you think about things. Do we need to see perhaps, and I hate the word task team, because we're wasting more money
Yes.
when we have an intelligence service, as you say, which should be dealing with this. Since that's not working, should we set up a task team to deal specifically with this issue?
Well, I think that we're probably overdue. By the way, I think we've got the resources. And I also think that there are many, many excellent police officers out there, as well as private security officers, doing their utmost to fight this. But can you imagine waking up in the morning, strapping on your bulletproof vest, booking out your rifle, knowing that today I've got to take however many millions of rand to a cash depot, and you're wondering, you know, are they going to be waiting for me? Is today my day? It's really not easy. So I almost want to acknowledge the fine efforts that we are seeing, but it's not enough. So if a task team is going to solve that, perhaps we need that task team. But what we certainly need is we need good, solid police intelligence agents infiltrating these criminal syndicates and networks.
And is there anything extra than that security companies can be doing themselves to get this right?
Well, the security companies really should also have, so I've been talking about police intelligence, crime intelligence, but security, I was speaking to a colleague in my industry 15, 20 minutes ago, and we were discussing this because it's such a burning issue. And he was saying, what are the security companies doing about an internal intelligence operation and network within their own employees? Because as I say, what is happening is that one employee is selling out his comrades. And, and that simply cannot be. So the security companies, I know that they've got fantastic trainers. Last year, I was invited to MC the Bravery Awards for SBV, you know, one of the cash carriers. They carry the big numbers. And I met the trainers. They are solid guys with impeccable police records. They know how to train the security officers in whatever tactics, you know, are required to counter this kind of thing. But you're up against it when your mates are selling the information out the back door to the criminals.
Yeah.